The Woman Who Literally Took Flight with Her Dreams by Mara Huber. Most people know Amelia Earhart to be the first female pilot to fly solo across the United States, the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and to attempt a flight around the world. Few recognize her name as someone who might have also been an American spy. No one really knows what happened to her and her navigator Fred Noonan when the plane went missing. Amelia Earhart was born in Atchison, Kansas on July 25, 1897. She had an older sister named Marielle, a father named Edwin, and a mother named Amy. Unfortunately, Amelia's father was an alcoholic. Unlike most girls during that time period, Marielle and Amelia were tomboys. They always hung out with the neighborhood boys and did the things they did. Their mother made them outfits for these types of activities. The outfits were gym suits with bloomers on the bottom so they could easily swing, walk on stilts, run around, etc. Amelia and Marielle loved school. After Amelia learned to read, she was often inside reading books. When Amelia was 10 years old, she had an experience at the 1908 Iowa State Fair she would never forget. She and her friend saw an airplane stuntman. He decided to pull a prank on them. He flew straight at them at full speed. Her friend ran away, but Amelia stayed there, watching in amazement, until the airplane flew straight back up in the air, nearly 8 feet in front of her. From then on, she wanted to be a pilot. When Amelia was 25, she got her flying license. She was one of the dozen women that knew how to fly then. She did not want to be like the rest of them. She wanted to break records and be famous. She bought her own airplane and practiced and practiced and practiced. Barely 2 months after she got her license, she had already broken a record. Shortly after that, her father's boss found out Edwin was an alcoholic. He was immediately fired. Amelia needed to help her family, so she sold her airplane and moved back to Atchison. In 1928, a rich woman named Amy Phipps Guest was sponsoring one of the first flights across the Atlantic Ocean. She wanted a woman to come along on this flight as a passenger. She asked Amelia if she wanted to do it, and Amelia agreed. No woman then had ever been in a plane across the Atlantic Ocean, so it was a huge deal. They took off in trespassing Newfoundland. After 2 days, and with less than an hour left of gas, they landed in Bury, Port Wales. Amelia was famous. In fact, so famous, she was invited to dine with queens. People were throwing parades for her. She won lots of awards. She was even paid to go to schools around America and talk to girls about going for their dreams. She didn't think she deserved all this attention because she didn't even drive the plane. She told people, "I'm just worth a sack of potatoes." A man named George Putnam asked her to publish a book about her experience. She listened to him and made millions of dollars off the book. During the process, she fell in love with George. George asked her 4 different times to marry him. After the 5th time, she agreed. Everyone was even more excited about Amelia's next flight that she decided to do. Amelia was going to be the first pilot, male or female, to fly around the world. This time she was going to fly with her navigator, Fred Noonan. When they almost were back in America, they had to make one last stop to get more gasoline for the plane on an island called Howland Island. Howland Island is a teeny island which is only 1 mile long and half a mile wide, which is hard for a pilot to see. It was especially hard for Amelia to see it because it was a cloudy day. On July 2nd, 1937, around 6:15 p.m., the worst happened. They lost their radio connection. From then on, no one knew what happened to them. Everyone went berserk. President Roosevelt sent 4,000 troops, 10 ships, and 64 planes to look for them. At this time, Japan and America were enemies. The Japanese didn't let us look for them, but they did search themselves. They never did find them, so most people said they must have died. Some other people joked about it and said they had a secret stop on a luxurious island and they would be back soon. Then a couple weeks later, Hawaii and California claimed to receive an SOS call over the radio. Then everyone spoke again about Amelia and Fred, until something else came along, World War II. In 1960, a lady named Josephine Blanco Akiyama claimed she saw the 2 Americans that were pulled onto the island of Saipan around the time Amelia and Fred went missing. One was a man, the other a woman. So a reporter named Fred Gorner went to the island to investigate. He asked the other island's villagers if they saw this. The majority said yes. One man claimed to know where they were buried. Fred went there and found bones. He brought them back to America and had scientists test them. They did not match. After this was reported, lots of people thought Amelia and Fred were American spies alive and working in Japan. Reporters asked the military, and they responded no. Some reporters even asked Amelia's mother, and she said that Amelia never told her, but she thought Amelia was a spy. The creator of the missing plane was asked if anything weird or suspicious was installed in the airplane. He said he installed a camera on the belly of the plane because Amelia asked him to. What do you think? Do you think she was a spy or not? In 1970, a man named Joe Kloss that lived in New Jersey published a book titled Amelia Earhart Lives. He claimed that she lived in New Jersey and was disguised as a housewife named Irene Boleyn. He explained how she was going to be the same age as Amelia would be then. She looked like her, and she was a pilot. Irene Boleyn sued Joe and won. I think Amelia Earhart is an important historical figure because she's one of the first who dared to be different than all the other ladies. I admire her because she was daring, took risks, and never gave up. I hope you enjoyed my biography on Amelia Earhart, the woman who literally took flight in her dreams.